Hey, and welcome back to Right Hand Drive Guys. I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
Yo.
And today is episode 30.
Yeah.
Can you
30.
even, can you even believe?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, me too, because we just do it every weekend. But yeah, no, it's just we started it for fun, and we made it to 30. That's kind of a cool little milestone. But
Yeah.
today we're going to talk about what cars are eligible to import starting in 2023? We're already, over halfway through the year,
Right,
but it's
right.
still kind of good to just rip through things like that to keep it fresh. And then maybe some that stopped getting imported this year and
Right.
wherever it takes us.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
everybody knows, right? I mean, this one's obvious, so we got to start first.
Right.
What, like, the car that first becomes eligible this year?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everyone's favorite, right? The Skyline R34
Is our
is
34.
eligible for import. So it started out just a lot of the sedans were able for import just because they were made first. Their production dates are a bit newer, so that's why you kind
Okay.
of saw a bunch of sedans coming in first.
Yep.
But now the coupes are starting to become of
Yeah,
age,
now
just
you
like
see a
yours,
ton of
right?
those. Yeah, yeah,
You
which
like
is sweet.
right, right. It's at port now, right? Or
Yeah,
did it land
so
today?
yeah, today's the day. It landed today, and so they say it's gonna be 3 or 4 more days because of the holiday,
Right.
and so hopefully we'll be going down to get it Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
something.
What month was it? Do you know? Do you remember?
It was a June of '98 car.
Right, right.
So
So that's
it
cool.
got it. We put it on the boat almost as soon as it was ready.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you do see now, whether it's on Marketplace, the groups, wherever else you're searching for your cars,
Yeah.
there are a ton of coupes, ton of GTTs.
Yeah. That's all you really see, right?
Yeah, and it's like, well, yeah, of course, because so the GTR, I think the first one that can be eligible is in December.
Right.
As far as I know, I could be wrong, but that's what I had read.
Right.
And so yeah, you're just gonna see a ton of GTTs, just like
Right,
boom,
right,
boom,
right.
boom, and so. But with that, like, I feel like there's such a broad range of buyers for these cars.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of talking about earlier, was like you're seeing them anywhere from what 30, 25, 30
Yeah,
to
yeah.
75 or
Right,
more.
right. Some people have some crazy prices on
Yeah,
their cars,
the
and it's like,
spread is wild.
yeah, it's kind of hard to justify because, like, dude, 75K, that'll get you a 33 GTR all day,
Yeah,
like a nice one, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
I
they're
would,
wanting
yeah.
that for a GTT coupe with, probably a GTR front end. That's like the most common thing I've seen, right?
Yeah, and so that kind of brings up a good point is does it stay like that
Right.
when the GTRs come through, or
Right.
is it like the R34 hype that's kind of striking early,
Right.
and then once GTRs come around, the demand for the GTTs will be less? You think it'll stay the same?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be one of those things where people start seeing some of these cars, some of these GTTs sell for these prices, and they're going to think, okay, well, the GTR is going to be even more astronomical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of keeps the price,
Right.
where it is, maybe a little less, but like it's hard telling. If
Yeah.
people start biting on them and they start having the money in these cars, then yeah, it's probably going to stay that way. But if no one's biting on these things, which
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna find out somewhat quick, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah, you'll find out soon enough.
yeah, and well, when we're gonna have a port clearing episode to kind of go through how all that went with my GTT, and I'll more than likely list it up for sale, but it only has 17,000 miles.
Right, that's low.
That's different than these. Literally, I saw a guy 70K,
Yeah.
130,000 or no, 130,000 kilometers,
Yeah,
and 70 something thousand.
like dude, you're
Like,
dreaming.
man, it's over 100. Like, I know kilometers is more, but still,
Still,
like,
no,
that's a lot. So,
ain't no way.
so yeah, the R34, of course, had to get that one out of the way. But there are some other ones that have been kind of iconic that we've kind of all been waiting for, whether we're huge fans of them or not. We're fans of JDM cars,
Right.
in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the Evo 5.
Yep.
We've all seen, Evo 5 front bumpers.
Dude, yes, dude.
You know it.
In the magazines back in the day, the body
yeah.
kits.
Yeah, going down the list.
Dude, they would have the Evo 5 bumper with those huge fog lights, and no one would ever get the fog
Nobody
lights.
could afford the fog
And if they had
lights.
them, they wouldn't hook them up. Like,
Yeah.
dude, no one ran that shit. So, like, that was always my first impression of the Evo 5, and I was just like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but then once you look at them on paper and like really start looking at the cars, they're actually pretty sick.
And
like,
it grows on you.
yeah, it kind of. I mean, they definitely grow on me. Like, I'm not a Mitsubishi guy at all, and they're not really my type of car. I don't really love all-wheel drive, whatever.
Mhm.
But I think they're cool,
Yeah.
and dressed up nice. Like, yeah, it's not just a Mirage or whatever they were in the States, right?
Yeah, like well, yeah, this body for sure, right? This is like the Mirage body one with the 2-piece headlights and all that. And,
Yeah.
And so we saw one of these in person when we were in Japan, when we went to Ebisu, and
Right.
there's a big open parking lot because Ebisu shares the space with what is it?
They're like a safari park.
A safari
Right, yeah,
park. Yeah, so there's a huge like kind of parking lot in the middle, and we were pulling in the R34 GTR, and we are going to the Matsuri, and parked all alone is a beautiful Evo 5
Yep.
in the blue.
Yeah.
With the matching blue STI, the same 98
Yeah,
body style. And so of course I pull the R34 up right next to it, because what other opportunity will we ever have,
Right.
who knows, to see these three legends together in Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
Like,
and it ends up being LZ and Colette.
yeah.
And so that was even more just kind of iconic because, like them, we're heavy car enthusiasts, and clearly we all like got our dream cars, so to speak, there in Japan. Like,
Right.
so very, very cool there, but to see it in real life, like,
Yeah.
and it was clean.
Yeah.
was
They were
like-
sick. Like, dude, they were like very nice cars. And yeah, in the States, we never really got anything like that. We just got like the lame versions, the base
Yeah.
models.
Especially
know.
back in the 90s
Right.
like that.
I mean, I don't even think we had a WRX in that like generation, right? It
No,
was just
not until 02 we didn't have a
right.
WRX.
It was just the 2.5 RSs. So like,
Yeah.
I never really got into them because like it was just
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like seeing the actual ones that are a little bit wider and just set up and like
Beefy,
just
yeah.
look a little bit different, right? They look that much cooler, whether it be like the factory aero or the wheels or whatever it is.
Fatty intercooler.
Yeah, the fatty intercooler up
Yeah.
front, dude. Like they just look sick. And like I think if we would have got those in the States, like I definitely would have been into those,
Yeah.
more or less than I am, the
No,
regular, the
right.
2.5 RSs
Well,
or
yeah, that would have
whatever Mitsubishi was doing over here in the 90s. Like,
what they weren't really doing much, because that was the Subaru that had the 2.5 RS, but Mitsubishi wasn't really into.
yeah, no, they
You
had
know.
like the Eclipse. and
Yeah,
that was-
right. But which was sweet. I mean,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I have had a few Evos. I really love the Evo 9s,
Yeah.
but back then when the Evo 5 was out, no, I wasn't into it.
Right.
No. But so that brings us to the next one, though, is the 98 WRX STI,
Yeah.
which is like early rally days, definitely an iconic car. It had
Yeah.
the little roof scoop.
Right.
You know, and LZ's had that, and it was
Yeah.
really cool. Like, he had it popped, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it-
probably.
Yeah, and
Flexing
so
it.
yeah, and it was, but they looked really cool. And if you've seen like Colin McRae used to drive
Right,
one,
right,
you
right.
know.
Classic.
And so yeah, I mean, for us, maybe that's maybe not something that would be in my collection, but I
Right.
can definitely see how it would be a desirable car.
Yeah, 100%. And dude, to take it back to when you had all three cars parked next to each other at Ebisu, like it's pretty wild to think that all those three cars came from the same year and like the same era. Looking at the
Yes.
GTR, because the GTR just looks like I don't
It
know,
does,
just
it is
so
R34.
far ahead of its
Mm.
time. Whereas like not that the STI or the Evo looked like dated or anything. It's just like the 34 just was that much better.
Yeah,
I don't know
mean,
why, but like
even the R33 can keep up with these cars
yeah,
in the looks. I mean, the R34 is light years ahead, I feel like.
yeah,
But even the R33, I feel like, keeps up with these cars, because just looking at them, they remind me more of like the R32
Yeah.
like era.
Right. They're
Not
just
the
older.
two-piece headlights, but like just
Right.
the shape of the body and stuff.
Right. They're still like in early '90s, whereas like
Right.
Nissan was already moving on in that sense. Like,
It's true. Because I mean, you look at the R35 GTR compared to either of these cars
Yeah.
now, an Evo 10 or
Right.
the latest STI, and it looks way more
yeah.
race car.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like you could put a 34 at a dealership today, brand new, and it wouldn't be that far out of place. Whereas, like,
Right.
if you put a older Subaru or the Evo, it's like, eh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was kind of wild, that those all three came from that same time, and like it was just, I don't know, it was just wild.
And so, when we were talking about this, we were also talking about like what cars are not like are kind of going out.
Yeah.
Like we're like the last year, 2023 is the last year of like the manufacture of some of these cars too.
Yeah.
And some submodels.
Right.
Where it changes.
For sure, yeah. The 180SX finally ends.
It's
It's the final year for 98's the last year for the 180SX, and dude, that's pretty crazy. Like those were being made late '88, probably '89, and they lasted till like late '98.
Years.
Yeah, 10 years, and that's pretty wild. And only a few facelifts between them, and then the S14 Sylvia is also on its way out. And
so it's the last year for the S14 before we get the...
Yeah, before you get the S15 in 99. But it is pretty crazy to think that at one time in Japan, you could go to a Nissan dealership and see all three S13, S14, and S15 brand new at the dealership. You know what I mean? Like still on the showroom floor, like all three generations of the iconic S chassis are all on the floor brand new. Right.
Wow. So why would they all be like I guess I'm not getting how you can get three models on the floor at the same time.
So like, all right, well the 180SX, it's an S13, right?
Right.
It ended in 98. The S14, Kuki, it ended in 98 as well. So there's likely to be, leftovers.
I guess I see what you're saying in the sense that I wasn't thinking like
and
S13 and 14 on the floor at the same time.
Right. And then on 99, obviously the 15 is there. So I mean, it's just kind of cool if you ask me. If you were to happen to drive by the dealership and see all three like models, all brand new, like just sick.
Yeah. No, and I guarantee there was at least one Japanese baller that went and was like, one of each,
yeah.
Please. That would be
probably a dude from a drift team.
Yeah, I mean, probably. So, yeah, and when we talk submodels, which is important too, because some of the kind of submodels of cars change the car. So the Civic Type R first generation, 96 to 98, this is the last year of those.
Right.
So then we'll get the 99s, and, we'll kind of see that facelift with those, which is cool. That those were always my favorite. Both of mine were 99s.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
And I know let's see. So also what else is importable though?
So
the last of it. Or the first of it.
Yeah, so
the first of it.
Of
whatever
the submodels?
Yeah.
So what I was about to say is the two of my favorite Autech cars are now available for import, which is one, the 260 RS Stagia, which is
sick.
Very sick, dude. It's a wagon with an RB26 drivetrain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure everyone's seen an R34 wagon before. Well, that's what it actually is. It's a Stagia with there's a bolt-on kit for the 34 front end that
those always look awesome.
Dude, so awesome. And remember that one parking area we stayed at Ebina, I think.
Yep.
There was like a Stagia meet.
Ton.
Dude, so many. There had to have been like a meet or a crew or something that was meeting up there because there was so many of those.
So many. I don't know, 25, 30, and then further down the lot was like a ton of GTRs too.
Yeah, and I mean it's just a wagon. Like I don't know, you either love them or hate them. I feel like, but a wagon with a GTR drivetrain.
And if you put the front end on
it,
and
dude.
if you dump it on some wheels and Whew.
Dude, you can put a lot of dogs in the back of those.
Oh, you can put a lot of dogs. You can put a lot of different stuff in there. You can fit a set of wheels in there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, dude, very sick cars. And then, also my other favorite Autech car that we also saw quite a few of in Japan, surprisingly, is the Autech 33 GTR, the 40th anniversary.
Photo.
Yeah, and that's the 4-door GTR. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Like, it's sick. It has the fender flares.
Oh, yeah.
It has the drivetrain,
Those
all-wheel
are
drive.
beautiful cars. If you've never seen one, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I know there's quite a few in the U.S. right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's been a few I know of, I think, 2 maybe in Texas that I've always seen pictures of. Like, they'd go to Cars and Coffee or whatever it might be, and
Yeah.
it was always like, what, a 4-door, like the ugly taillights and everything, and you're like, but it has a GTR emblem, and that's probably where I first saw them, but I thought they were sick.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so we were going down the highway, we pulled into a parking.
Yeah, that was
area.
just a random parking area
Yeah,
in Japan.
and there's like this old guy in the Autech 33.
Yeah.
Like with the windows up, just stroking a butt.
Dude, just
oh my
smoking
gosh.
cigarettes, dude,
like,
right?
In the whole car is like filled with
Filthy,
smoke.
dude.
Like,
the car is
oh my
disgusting.
God.
All the wheels are curved, dude. Like, probably every single corner is scraped. But it's an Autech 33, and it's sick.
And it was.
And
it
I was like
dope.
losing my mind
You
over
were
it.
like, because at that point we hadn't seen a ton. Like,
Right. That was one of
the
our
week
first
before
wild
Golden
scenes.
Weeks.
Yeah.
So like we hadn't seen much, and yeah, you were like, I was like, holy crap, this dude loves this car. Like,
Yeah, dude, it was
he's
sick.
circling the car
To
and
see
the
just
guy is
random.
just like.
What is he doing?
And he's just like getting down on a knee, doing the crouch, looking at everything.
Dude, it was sick.
So the old guy takes off. We were going
Yeah.
pee. He takes off.
Yeah.
And so, we're going, and I'm like trying to catch him, and he's like, dude, you're gonna see him. He's gonna be up here. He's gonna be up here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like amping me up, so I'm going too fast, but it was fine. And finally we catch up to him. And we just like creep by him, and Aaron's like getting the roller shots, and this guy is not impressed. He like,
dude, I gave him a thumbs up and everything.
You gave
and he
a
was
thumbs
just,
up, a wave. You slapped your ass. I was like,
dude,
what is going on?
I was so stoked, right? But this dude, it was just like he didn't care
At
like
all.
he was just
No.
like,
He thought we were done.
dude, it was pretty wild, and that was like one of my first. Like, I don't know. It was like you said, it was one of our first car sightings, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I gave the dude a thumbs up, and he just looks at me like I'm crazy. But like,
It was awesome. Still.
I thought it was sick.
Yeah. And so the Autech 33, that's definitely a legit car. It's interesting. I mean, it makes sense, but it's interesting how the way that the 34s came out, but not the GTR, while the 33
GTR was still being made,
Yeah.
and it was the last year for it.
Yeah, so like that's also interesting, like how they did that. Like they still had 33 GTRs on the floor,
Yeah.
and they're rolling out 34 GTTs.
Dude,
and
just
whatever else.
imagine that year at the dealership.
Yeah,
Like where you have all these S chassis, all these.
that must have been like,
Dude,
I would love to see
stages,
some old like video of that. Like,
Right.
Like the home camera stuff. Like I would love to see that.
Dude, take me back to '98.
Seriously. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild how some of these cars, like it really was probably a pivotal year
Yeah.
because with these changes, not just in the cars, but in the companies
Yeah.
and like where they were heading after this year, I definitely, will be excited to see that. So they also have the Prelude Type S for Honda came out this year.
Yeah. And Preludes are pretty cool. Like they had
Yeah.
the SHs with superior handling.
Superior handling with the rear steering.
Yeah. And they
That
had
was
the
cool.
they also had the H22, which was
Yep.
like the big boy before the K series came
Pretty
in,
much,
right?
yeah, and that's what everybody was trying to swap or was swapping into their EG Civics and
Right.
EK
Well, that was
Hatch
like such a crazy thing. There would always be a dude with an H22 and an EG.
yeah,
Like
because it was
there was
like
always
the
at
biggest
least one of
motor,
them. It was just like, I guess.
but
yeah.
they ran good, you
Yeah.
know, like It was a VTEC motor, so
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It definitely hit VTEC.
and so yeah, this year though, the 98s were the ones that came with like the like headlights that were not like bars. They
Right.
were like on the hood, like I don't know what to call that. But you know what I'm saying? Um the models with the headlights like on them
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
instead of like across
Right,
it.
right,
I personally liked these better.
right.
I just liked that headlight setup, and I felt like those like 98 Preludes just looked like clean like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think they look really good. And like, dude, the Preludes, they always had the wildest interior, I felt like most
Yeah.
slept on interior, like the way that it just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it goes all the way across.
Yeah, it
Kind of like
was a
this
lot
thing
different.
does. Kind of like the dash in this does. It goes like all the way across. It's like
Yeah, instead of breaking
symmetrical, I
up.
guess you could say. And I don't know, no one ever does that.
Yeah, yeah, I mean Honda is unique in a lot of the things that they do. Not just the Prelude Dash, but
Yeah.
just a lot of the cars that they come out with over the years, which the Accord Euro R is now also
Yeah.
eligible for importation.
Right, right. And those also have the Beast H22 in them as well.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's a hitter. She'll spin third on him.
It's a hitter, dude. Yeah, no, I mean it. If you've never seen a Euro R, look it up, Google it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're pretty cool.
It looks
like,
kind of like the Accords that we got here, but a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
They got like little bit different headlights, a little bit different tail
Wheels.
lights,
Yeah.
and completely different engine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I remember back in the day seeing those engines on like HMO or whatever it was.
Oh, for sure.
And I believe they had the blue valve
Blue,
cover,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was the Accord Euro R motor.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure for what reason it's called the Euro R, but I do know that they are made in Europe.
Yeah. So.
And I believe it's at the same factory that like the EP3 was made and designed and stuff like that. So
The EP3.
Yeah.
All right.
I
get
do
it.
I do believe that they sold in Japan, but I'm not like super up on that.
Yeah.
But It
but
is a
that's
Honda, so
interesting.
I'd imagine that they had made it over there one way or another.
Yeah.
They definitely got them.
We could probably find out real quick, but
Yeah,
um,
look it up. Yeah, I mean, it seems like anything that European factory, that built like the EP3 and the Accord Type R, it seems like people shied away from those for whatever reason. They're not the best work. It's not the Japanese factory that put in the work and designed these cars. It's a little bit different and it shows.
yeah. And so I got our answer.
Oh yeah.
So the Accord Euro R was officially sold only in Japan.
Huh.
Yeah, so they didn't even
So
let the
they didn't even-
Europeans get it.
So they made them design it, build it,
Yeah.
imported
then
them all
didn't let it-
over.
did
They didn't
not.
want to give them the Type R badge.
Yeah. that's
Imagine they're like,
crazy.
nah, we'll call this one the Euro R. We're
Yeah.
gonna keep our Type R. We're gonna give it's a Euro R.
Yeah, but you guys can't have it. Like that's kind of wild that it was only sold in Japan and then imported into other places. But
That is pretty crazy. I have seen them like on other YouTube channels like around like Ireland and stuff like that as well. So they definitely made their ways around the world with them. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right, looking at it real quick, it is like ours, but with a body kit and some cool interior
a little bit
stuff,
different
so-
headlights, and a
Yeah.
pretty cool wing, but like it's still front engine, front wheel drive.
Yeah,
It's not really competing with like the Evo or anything like that.
right.
Definitely not competing with like the GTRs.
Or nothing like that.
Right,
no. So, one thing I was thinking about was, and feel free to weigh in, email us, DM us, whatever. But how does this affect pricing in the sense of now, if let's just say this is the last year of eligibility for
Yeah.
like in sense of an S14.
Yeah.
Anything sitting over there waiting to be imported right now has been or is about to be imported.
Right,
There's nothing left sitting there waiting to come over.
right.
How does it affect like the pricing?
I think, with the pricing, it'll probably stay around the same, right? Probably start going up a little bit, But I wouldn't be too worried about that. I'd be more worried about what's going to be coming over. Because, like, sometimes, man, you see some of these cars that have been eligible for a while, like, say, an S13 or R32. You look at them, and it's like, holy crap, where has this thing been sitting for the past 10 years? And, no telling what is up with it.
No clue.
You have no clue. So, man, they're, like, really scraping from the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side, it's also could be that one dude that kept his car nice.
Yeah.
And kept it,
They're
going.
out there, yeah.
And, loved it, put the time, put the work into it, but, whether it be medical issues or maybe they're moving to the city or whatever it might be, they go to sell their car and they know they can get a premium from it if they export it. So you can it's kind of two sides of the coin, but it's like one extreme or the other, in my opinion.
Well, right. Beyond, like, so there was the original ones that people bought, right?
Right,
put in storage.
And I feel,
And then once all those were, like, bought up, now is when we're talking about, so everything's eligible.
Right.
So now what's left over there is either awesome or shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And all that middle of the road, like all those decent cars, all those good deals, all those, all the ones that you want, they're already going to be exported and brought over, and they're going to be getting taxed on in the U.S. or wherever it might be, Australia, Europe, whatever. Or, that's how it goes with these cars. That's how time goes on, and that's how classic cars are.
Yeah. And they're, you start scraping from the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
And at that point, you're not getting a deal and you're getting the bottom rung. So
then
I guess pricing, I mean, I guess right, what you're saying, if you're getting one from Japan, that's what I'd be worried about.
Yeah.
But just getting them period now.
Right.
Once all that's left is either the best or the worst, the middle of the road stuff price goes up, I feel like.
Yeah. That's going to slowly start going up like just over time. Right, that's just going to appreciate because they're sought after cars.
Yeah,
and look at it like that. You kind of have to, because like if you don't, then
yeah, exactly. You're gonna be like disappointed, and
right. You're gonna be like, oh, well, I had one of those. When I was a teenager or whatever it might be. Like I catch myself doing that. Like, oh man, I have had so many 240s that I just let go, cut in half, sent to the junkyard, whatever. Like,
dang, sent to the junkyard.
You know what I mean? And and I've seen firsthand, like, front clips and things like that from these JDM cars. Like, that used to be a car.
Right.
So,
all of those are gone.
All these things are just, like,
it's kind of crazy. Yeah. That's why when we went over there, we didn't even really see anything unless it was, like, kind of planned out or, like, special time, like during Golden Week.
Yeah.
But otherwise, think about, because we obviously built up in our head, like we were going to get off the plane and there was going to be GTRs.
That's not what
everywhere.
It is.
No.
I mean, if you guys followed me and like watched my story, every time I saw a cool car, I posted it. And I went back recently and kind of just like looked at all those pictures of the cars, like random highway cars I saw. It seemed like a lot at the time, and it was cool at the time, but it really wasn't that many.
No.
You know what I mean? It was maybe 5 a day.
Yeah, like random.
And we were putting some mileage on these cars. Like, we were driving around a lot in a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
And going to shops and up garages and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, didn't really see much.
Yeah, no, not really. And, like, maybe some middle tier cars, whatever, but not like GTRs or like
definitely nothing like
S15s or if we saw like an S15 between a fence by a shop, we're like, oh, what the hell is that? Like, so it's really thinning out, regardless of the year. And even 2000s, those are all sitting in storage because they've been bought.
Right. I mean, people have smartened up. It's a business. And there's money to be made, and people are going to make it, and that is how they do it, by buying up these cars and just sitting on them.
And that's
just
them
filling out
tying
warehouses.
Up their money and taking the risk of whatever may happen.
Yeah.
And so, like when you do pay X amount, like just understand it's because of that work and that sacrifice to even get that car to you.
Right.
Because it could have started 4 years ago.
Right.
Like, it's pretty crazy, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I'm like sad to see that like you know, because this is just like anything else. Like
Yeah.
time is passing,
Right.
and so I'm sad to see the 180. Like, you know, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's going away, but there's
Right.
nothing that's coming over that couldn't have come over.
Yeah.
You know, and same with the R33. Like, you know, it's just like a milestone kind of
Right.
in like our industry that now is like past.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but for real, you know, but I am also excited. I'm excited for what is to come. We're not that far from a lot of really cool cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like the S2000's coming up. I
Right.
know we had that here, but just that deepens the pool of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
availability of them, you know. And there's also, right, the Evo 7 and 8.
Right.
Like the 7 for sure, we didn't have it here. That one's
And the
really
wagon.
dope. The wagon, yeah. There's like some cool cars, you
Right.
know, that are still yet to come. And so yeah, I'm excited to just keep seeing them here.
Yeah,
you
me
know?
too. I just hope they
Yeah.
don't. The EPA doesn't get
Yeah.
wild. That's the only
know.
thing
I
I
hope
like.
so too.
That's the only thing that can stop us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And to anyone else out there that, you know, loves right-hand drive cars like we do, you get what we're talking
Yeah.
about. You know, it's really sad and exciting, and eventually we'll all be talking about, hey, remember when all of those became 25?
Remember when we put gas in our cars?
Yeah. Yeah, but so yeah, you know, follow us on Instagram at RHDGUYS. You know, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're gonna start doing more content on there beyond the podcast recordings themselves. So make sure you hit us up there. But for episode 30, I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Peace.